On this week's show, boxing is finally on the platform, and we get to see where Peloton features in Sex and the City.
Plus, we have a new Queen Artist series with a little bit of apparel to go with it, and some new holiday classes have been released, and much, much more.
Welcome to Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. Here are your hosts, Amanda Siegel and John Pruitt.
Welcome to episode 63 of Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. I'm Amanda Siegel, and I'm joined by my co-host and similarly dressed, John Pruitt. Hello, John.
Hey now. How's it going, Amanda?
It is good. It's good. I love our color coordination today, John. I mean, it wasn't even preempted. It just kind of happened. We were on the same page today, huh?
Who wears the red better?
I mean, is that even a question?
Got my
and
Christmas
I'll leave it at
Pelo
that.
red.
Pelo red. Pelo holiday Christmas red. Absolutely. It was funny because when I was thinking about what I was going to wear, I was like, all right, it had to be red. And I guess that kind of tells you folks that this is going to be our last formal show for the year. I am heading out of town next week and unfortunately am not available to record. So we are going to wrap it up this week, and maybe we'll have something special for you guys next week. So you'll have to wait and see something different. But it is going to be the final show for 2021. And what a year it's been. Hey, John.
I know. And just so everyone, and so, you know, Amanda, and everyone watching and listening, I am working on another best of 2021 Peloton moments highlight reel, which I did last year for 2020. And I'll post that on my personal Insta and to the official Peloton member page on Facebook. But I definitely have a lot of video clips to comb through and whittle down because it starts to add up when you get to 30 plus clips.
Right.
Which is what happened when I did the Jen Sherman birthday highlight reel. Like I wanted to keep it, 5 minutes or so, and I had to really trim a lot of stuff down and a lot of stuff left on the cutting room floor for JSS. But I'm looking forward to putting that all together.
I mean, there's such good material out there.
Half the fun is revisiting all this, so many clips and moments that I've forgotten over the past year. So it'll be half the fun is putting it all together and splicing it, and creating all the little transitions and crossfade,
That
things
really
that
is
I do
fun.
with it.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to that, John. That's going to be so much. Yeah, that's going to be so cool. I mean, it's, as we said, there's just so much that has gone on this year. And certainly the instructors have been on top form, and with all the new instructors and all the new faces. It'd be great if you got as many of them in there as possible, because there's so many that we don't know. I mean, we spoke about last week how, Marina came and went, and she was gone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
I don't think I'll have a clip of her in it, unfortunately. But I know the previous year. Sorry, I know the previous year, I definitely did not have enough Jess Sims or Adrian Williams in there. So I will absolutely have more of both of them, as well as more of the lesser known, newer instructors, especially across the pond.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And otherwise, you had a good week?
Yeah, just another solid week working out on the tread and bike.
Yeah, don't bring up the tread.
We're going to dive into your tread woes, or are we going to save that to the?
We'll save that. We'll save that for when we talk about the tread. But yeah.
Yeah, we don't need you being a Debbie Downer at the top.
No, we're going to start off. We're going to start off good, and as we always do when we start off the show, folks, I always remind you that before we get into the news, we always like to remind you guys how you can keep up to date with all of our content across all of our platforms. Every episode is released on our YouTube channel, so just make sure that you hit the subscribe button in the bottom right-hand side of the video and hit the notify button so that you never miss an episode.
And also, if you want to listen to us, we're on all podcast platforms. Just search Pelobuddy TV, click subscribe, hit notifications so you don't miss an episode. And we always love to hear feedback from our listeners and viewers. So if you have a suggestion for the show, if you like what you hear, please leave us a review. We love to also read them from time to time on the show. But we also want to improve things. So if there's a suggestion that you have, we would love to hear from you.
Absolutely. And we did get some fabulous ones. So thank you so much, Nida K, for your amazing and very descriptive review that you just gave us on YouTube. That was really fabulous. So thank you so much for doing that. So yeah, definitely, folks, make sure that you take the time to do that. It shouldn't take too long. And then, of course, we are on Facebook and Instagram. I know that most of you are on there already, but if you're not, just make sure that you search the pelobuddy.com icon and like and follow us so that you never miss anything. And now, John, I guess it's time for us to get on with the show.
First, let's do a rundown of the latest Pelo news.
All right, folks. Well, let's start our today's show with the news of the much anticipated Peloton Boxing dropping. We've been teasing this on the show for, oh my gosh, what seems like forever. And now it's finally official. Peloton Boxing classes are being released. And they're being released initially under the collections tab called Get Hooked. So one can't actually find them in a strength program under the collections programs. Yep, and it's called Get Hooked. So if you're trying to find them under the strength section, you actually would not be able to do so. So you do have to actually go into collections and then programs to be able to programs to be able to get that. Sorry, I don't know why I keep on saying collections, into programs to be able to get that. The three instructors that are launching the program are Selena, Kendall Toole, and Rad Lopez. But Peloton have in fact teased that they will be adding more coaches and boxing classes in the future. For now, the program includes 14 classes and is 2 weeks long. Classes range in length from 5 to 30 minutes. Week 1 has 5 days of classes, while week 2 has just 3. The description reads, learn the fundamentals of boxing in week 1 before getting into fight mode. And week 2, with the 3 30-minute shadow boxing classes, it basically allows you to go in there and do it without any equipment at all that is necessary. You just need a workout mat. The classes don't use any dumbbells or any other equipment. So it's a really easy way for folks to be able to get started. And the reasoning behind them doing it this way is so that nobody gets to hurt themselves. I think that what a lot of the instructors have said kind of in their promos and talking about it is that even if you're a boxer, even if you're someone that has done this, before, they really want you to kind of start fresh with what they're telling you what to do before they release all the material, which I think is really a clever idea.
Ease into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Unlike some of the other new launches like Dance Cardio, Bar, and Pilates, as I said previously, it is only offered as a program, which does mean that you have to start pretty much from the beginning and follow the recommended classes. So interesting. We've waited long and hard for this. I think that there are tons of folks that are really, really excited about getting it on the platform. Boxing actually has been one of the most requested modalities, John, from members in the past. And we had noticed that there had been quite a few new instructors that had been announced in 2021 who have backgrounds in boxing. So in addition to the 3 instructors that were announced to launch the program, Callie Galaxon, who joined Peloton just this past year as a strength instructor, and Bradley Rose also have boxing experience. So I guess it's really going to be, exciting to see who else they include in this in the new year, if there are others. I did see a social media post where somebody had asked Bradley if he was going to be a coach, and he blatantly just said no. He said, unfortunately not. So I don't know whether he's kind of keeping it under wraps himself or whether it is going to happen, but it was just something that I happened to, have
picked up on it.
Yeah, picked up on.
That's surprising.
Yeah, I mean, how do you feel about it, John? I must be honest with you, it just hasn't lit any spark for me.
Yeah, I'm really trying to be open-minded about it because I really don't know much about boxing. I'm not a fan of professional boxing in any way, UFC, whatnot. So I'm trying not to judge a book by its cover, but it's not something that I got excited about in any way. So I haven't done any of the classes yet, but I'm really going to have to force myself if I want to try it to really motivate to check it out, to really, see it for myself.
Yeah, I have to be honest with you. I'm right there with you, which is, unfortunate. Would have been nice if one of us was able to kind of push it. But I have no interest. It's just never something that I've wanted to try. It's never something that's appealed to me. And yet there are some members that are just so excited about it. So I guess we'll see where it goes and what happens. And I'm excited for those folks.
I do love Kendall, so I'm going to at least make an effort to do one of her, 5 or 10 minute, just to give it her, because I love her personality. I like her taste in music, her coaching. Awesome. So I'm going to make an effort to at least try one with her.
Yeah.
And hopefully by the time we return from break, hopefully I'll have done at least one boxing class at that point. So
and you'll be able to share it.
I think I can. Yeah, that's a reachable goal.
Yeah. All right. Well, maybe we'll see, especially with me being away and not having the hardware. Maybe I'll try it because, as I just reported, we don't need anything. You can just kind of do it with the mat and not really need anything. So maybe that'll be part of my exercise regimen while I'm on holiday. Certainly will maybe throw it in there. All right. Am I making any promises? This is not going to be hard, fast, challenge that I'm going to give you here. I'm just going to say maybe. And then next up, John, switching gears, we would be remiss if we left out the release of the new Sex and the City, which dropped at midnight on Thursday, December the 9th. We had mentioned previously on the show, I believe it was just last week, that in the teasers for And Just Like That, which is the Sex and the City reboot, we had seen Mr. Big, Carrie's husband, on a Peloton bike. And of course, we speculated who he might be working out to and if that instructor would in fact make a cameo on the show. Well, the first episode, Peloton is mentioned not once, but twice in the show with our very own Jess King as Peloton instructor Allegra from Barcelona. And she has the accent and all to boot. So hopefully by now, most of you that listen or watch our show and also enjoy Sex and the City have seen the first episode and possibly even the second. But if you haven't, fast forward to the next segment, as we would hate to spoil anything for you. Exactly. Yeah. We'd hate to spoil anything for you. But again, being Sunday, we're hoping that most of you have already seen it and couldn't wait to see it. So we are going to share some spoilers with you. The first time Peloton is mentioned is a scene in the kitchen where Mr. Big and Carrie are chatting about a recital that Carrie's planning to attend of her friend Charlotte's daughter, Lily. Carrie asks Mr. Big if he wishes to join, whereby he exclaims, "Hell no, I'll be spending the night at home with Allegra," and goes on to tell her that it's for his 1,000th ride. Who would have thought that Big would be riding that many times? I mean, how many rides has he really done?
50 rides, 100 rides, that's more believable for Big.
Come 1,000? I mean, I kind of raised my eyebrows too.
He's big stacking the cool downs and warm-ups.
Right. True. 5-minute cool downs and warm ups. Well, that's good though. It's a good thing that you know how I feel about that, John. It's a good thing that he was doing, warm ups and cool downs. And then, of course, he was excited about possibly getting his shout out, which, one can't help but chuckle, right? When you hear something like that, which is exactly what you just did. We all wait for that. So it was really fun to kind of hear him say that. The next time we see Peloton is when he is in fact on a ride.
On his Bike Plus.
Yep, on his Bike Plus. Yep. And we see that Allegra is in fact none other than Jess King, who, interestingly enough, is in character as the sultry South American instructor.
Why couldn't she just play herself? She had to be in a whole character with an accent from another country.
It's like a weird accent too. But anyway.
Spice things up for him, I guess.
And what they also did, and again, obviously you folks that are listening to us sharing this have probably watched it, but rather than them using previous footage of a Peloton class, Jess actually recorded some custom scenes and audio for the show of teaching a class. There is a close-up of Jess on video doing the class intro. And then beyond that, you just hear her kind of cueing different segments, of the ride. And then again, the next time that Peloton is seen is, as we said, when they are toggling back and forth between him riding and the recital. He certainly does seem to be pushing himself on the ride. So you're hearing Lily playing, this incredible Beethoven in the background, and it's very dramatic how she's playing and everybody's, oohing and eyeing, and Carrie's kind of playing with her ring in the picture. Of course, I noticed that immediately. And you see him pushing himself on the bike. You don't get to hear whether he gets that shout out or not. That is one thing that I absolutely listened for, but you don't get to hear that. But after completing the ride, he does head to the showers, where he texts her to tell her that in fact he will meet her, and then he ends up holding his chest and his arm, and he's in fact having a heart attack.
Yeah,
and I did some research,
crazy.
and I kind of read back, and Chris Noth was adamant about not being a part of this new reboot. He made it very clear that he did not want to be in the show. And I don't really know whether it had anything to do with Samantha not being it. I'm not sure exactly, but he had, there were some articles that I read that he did not want to be in it. But he did agree to come back for this first episode so that they could, in fact, kind of, kill him
closes
off.
The storyline.
Exactly. Closes the storyline. And they do talk about Samantha's, why Samantha's not there, and the bad vibes between her and Carrie, and, within the episode as well. So it does put closure to that as well, because it was kind of strange that she's just like not there. So they do bring that up a little bit. But this was the way, I guess, of Chris not having to come back into the show. But it was, it really did hit home. So I know for lots that do watch Sex and the City, it's going to certainly hit them as well. I didn't get a chance to watch episode 2, but I do believe that it was spoken about again. And interestingly enough, it was mentioned in the show, with the characters, as to whether the Peloton had anything to do with him having had the heart attack, and somebody said absolutely not. And again, I haven't watched the second episode. I was hoping to watch it before we recorded, but I didn't have time. But so again, I mean, it's bittersweet. It's a bittersweet way of bringing in Peloton, just because of how it was used within the episode, which I thought was interesting.
Nice product placement, but not the best advertising.
Right. And again,
in the other sense,
known? But who would have known that this would have been so sensitive for so many of us, right after. It's just,
So as of today, I haven't seen either episode. I only watched one little clip of the Jess King moment where she says, "You're here for a 45-minute power ride," which I thought was kind of funny to describe the ride. I didn't even call it Power Zone.
Yeah.
But do we know, is he confirmed dead, or right now is he in the hospital?
No, he's confirmed dead.
Oh, okay.
He is confirmed
Gotcha.
dead. He is confirmed dead. Yeah, it was interesting because they didn't call 911. He survived until she came back. And then he died.
So they had a little moment.
Arms.
Okay.
He died in his arms. Yeah, and then the second episode is about the funeral. So they do that much I did get. So yeah, we felt, again, this is something that, is close to all of our hearts, seeing Peloton in as John just said, the product placement of Peloton in anything, whether it be a commercial or whether it be, a show. And there've certainly been lots of them. I know that I watched a show, which one was it? Made.
Made?
Made had Peloton, and they spoke about Peloton, and it does certainly put a smile on our faces. But yeah, so it was certainly bittersweet just in how it was. But yeah, so not sure where it's going to go from there. We'll ride the bike within the show. It's right outside her closet, with her big closet doors. I mean, it's right there.
She's probably going to give it to Charlotte. Too many bad memories with that Bike Plus.
I would assume
probably.
So. I would assume so. Yeah.
But now rest in peace, Mr. Big. Now I hope Aiden will come back into the picture and be.
Me too.
Back. I was a big Aiden fan.
I was a big Aiden fan too. Although I will tell you, she does.
What's his name?
Interestingly enough, she does a podcast. No, she does a podcast, and I am so sorry, but I cannot remember the actress's name who does the podcast with her. It's completely escaping me right now, but she's somebody famous. And when you guys watch the show, if you guys have watched the show, you'll recognize her. But the producer is very hot. So I was thinking, I wonder if maybe she'll have something with the producer of the podcast, because they were giving her a little bit of shit about that she wasn't being raunchy enough on the podcast, and he was kind of smiling, and they kind of panned over to him a couple times. So knowing what was going to happen in the episode, because when I went into watching the episode, I obviously knew, because we had been preparing for the show, I knew what was going to happen. I was wondering, I wonder if he's relevant or not. So, but yeah, I loved Aiden. I don't remember what happened to Aiden. So do you remember?
I don't remember what
if
they
he got married.
I don't remember how that relationship ended. Yeah.
Yeah, me neither.
Been so long.
Me neither. So this might be the last time we mention Sex and the City on our show, because we don't know whether Peloton will feature in there again.
We might have already reached the end of the Peloton arc in
Sex
and the City. What's it called? What's the reboot called?
It's called Let's Get After It.
Let's get after it.
No. And just like that. And just like
that doesn't really roll off the tongue like SATC, Sex and the Tips. Okay. And just like that. Okay. And just like that, we have, next up, we have a Queen series, artist series that happened this past week, and some apparel to go with it. But there were some options for members to choose from with the new artist series from Queen. There were 2 live rides, a run, some strength, a yoga flow. There was a 5-minute warm-up ride that was just on demand with Sam, and also a 10-minute cool down that was on demand with him as well. I actually just did that after the Cody boot camp on Thursday. A yoga flow, with 30-minute yoga flow with Ross Rayburn, and a 30-minute
Kendall got Ben, right?
Strength, 30-minute full body strength with Ben, and Kendall got the Wednesday night artist series prime time slot for her 30-minute Queen ride. And then Jermaine Johnson, he had a 30-minute run, and Eric Yeager had a 30-minute Queen ride in German. But it was just over just a couple days last week, from Wednesday the 8th to Friday the 10th. So they're all out there now for you to enjoy if you haven't done any of them yet. But the cool down was fun with Sam. That's the only one I've done so far, but it was all live tracks. Yeah. So it was kind of fun. He did, he pulled the track from the infamous Live Aid performance that they did just one of the intros that Freddie Mercury had, getting the crowd all riled up. So that was fun.
Yeah. So I did
and then
I did the
what did you do?
I did Kendall's, and I don't have much on my pick of the week, but it's my pick of the week. She's amazing.
Did you do it live on
She's
Wednesday
amazing.
night?
I did not do it live. Not do it live, but it's amazing. It's amazing.
Nice.
She's got so much energy, and she really put everything into it. She was fantastic. So kudos to Kendall.
I didn't see the playlist for hers, but did she happen to play Radio Gaga on her ride?
You always ask me, and I'm not as au fait with the music as you are, but I will certainly tell you because I have it pulled up. So let's take a look and see. She certainly did. She did.
Okay.
Oh yeah, the playlist was, the best of the best. It started out with Keep Yourself Alive, and then went into, Don't Stop Me Now, Bohemian Rhapsody, Who Wants to Live Forever. She had, We Will Rock You. She had Radio Gaga, We Are Champions. It is a ride you cannot miss. It is a ride you cannot miss. I do happen to love Queen, and it was fantastic. And yes, Sam's warm up and cool down were just complemented it so well.
So
nice doing a nice trio. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well,
and I have Ben's strength bookmarked because that is definitely something I want to do too. I haven't had a chance to do it yet.
Don't sleep on strength with Ben. And also there's a little bit of apparel that released with the classes. There were 6 items. I took a quick glance. I didn't order any of them yet, but there's a pair of leggings, a Go Further bra, 2 women's tanks, and 2 unisex long sleeve shirts that actually look pretty decent. If you haven't checked out the apparel site on onepeloton.com.
Yeah, there certainly is a lot to be buying. And if one more black package comes to my front door, I may not be married for long.
Speaking of the packaging, I'm a little disappointed. They seem to have eliminated the flat instructor little postcards that they always normally include.
They have this like stupid other postcard and the same
it's just
stickers.
like a generic holiday. Yeah. That
and
just
horrible
goes right in the
stickers.
trash.
I hate those new stickers, and they don't change them. So I literally have a stack of those damn stickers that I never.
I chuck them at this point.
I know.
I can only have so many sheets of those.
So many, right? What are we doing with them? What are we doing with them? Well, folks, there is lots happening on the Peloton platform this week. We did get the launch of something new, Peloton's stacking stuffer classes and collections, which were kind of cute, being for the holiday. It was a bunch of 15-minute classes that does earn you a special badge. What they ended up doing was dropping 22 classes on demand, and that was Wednesday the 6th is when they dropped the classes. These are new classes and are in addition to the holiday classes that the instructors are dropping that you'll talk about. But throughout the month of December, these stacking stuffer classes will be updated every Monday. And they're basically just encouraging members to kind of mix and match, as well as allowing folks who just have very little time on their hands to get a quick workout in. So it includes cycling, obviously tread workouts, yoga, strength, meditation, bar, and they are being taught by 22 different instructors. For a full list of the classes, there are too many to obviously talk about on the show. Don't hesitate to head over to pelobuddy.com, and Chris Lewis does have a very detailed list of all the classes that are on there. But they are fantastic and a great way to add in, either to a stack, or if you just want to do a quick 15-minute, workout, or maybe do a 15-minute strength and a 15-minute, cardio workout, do your bike tread or something like that. It's a great way to do that. So they're fabulous.
Nice catchy little play on words there, Peloton, stacking
Wasn't
stuffer.
that nice? Stacking stuffer.
That's cute.
I loved it. Yeah, very cute.
And they also come with a badge, right?
Yep, they do. Absolutely.
The stacking stuffers.
They do come with a badge. Yep.
So we also have some holiday/festive classes that have dropped beginning on Monday, December 6th, and will continue to be, released all the way through Monday to December 27th. But you can expect to see different theme version of some of the popular long-running series, like the Holiday Sweat Steadies, Rides with Jess King, the Holiday Epic Sing-Along. I know there's one coming up with Jen Sherman, and a festive XOXO Cody ride that's coming up, I think, next week. Actually, it's right around the corner. Tuesday.
Yep, the 14th.
Thank you, Control Room.
Yeah.
But you can also look to see some traditional holiday playlists on a lot of Peloton classes, plus some holiday party theme classes. But like you said, Amanda, the Pelobuddy.com website has a really good comprehensive list of all of the ones that we know about, the ones that are upcoming, plus a nice list of previous years, which a lot of are still on demand, thankfully, that we can still go back to if you want to retake one or if you missed one from years past. There is a special badge for it. And there's also some unofficial or some hidden holiday theme classes I wanted to point out that Chris Lewis was good to mention, like the recent arm and strength class from Robin from December 1st. That was very holiday themed, but there's no labeling that it's a holiday or Christmas themed class. So you really have to dig at the playlist on ones like that to really see that they're a holiday oriented class. But in general, the US UK based classes, they're called holiday classes to kind of incorporate every holiday that everyone, regardless of what you celebrate. The German classes will be labeled festive classes. So I've done a couple. What did I do so far? Oh, I did Emma's 90s themed holiday ride on Thursday, and I did Sam's. Well, I did Sam's with you, obviously, on your milestone ride. But yeah, those are
Sergio,
fun. The Cody XO,
as I will now be known as Sergio
3. Now you got to put that in below your leaderboard name to have some fun with him. Also, shifting gears a little bit. So there was a recent investor call. I don't even want to call this an update because there's really not much. There's not much news to really share. And I know Chris Lewis got some heat from people because he said update on the studio reopening and the Tread Plus going back on sale with just a description. Click on the link, and a lot of people were saying this is clickbait. And I was disappointed when I clicked on the link myself because I was hoping there would be some actual, concrete update as to when we might expect to be able to go to the new studio in New York.
The update was that there's no update.
So that's what I was going to say. So their annual shareholder meeting that took place just recently, after they got all the formal business out of the way, CEO John Foley and some others took some time to answer some investor questions. And the two biggest topics that were addressed by members over the past year were when the studio, the London and New York studio, would finally open, which neither studio is open to the public yet. They're brand new, especially the London one that just recently opened. And when the Tread Plus might go on sale, back on sale. So he remains, so John Foley just basically said that there's no date yet set in stone as when the London or New York studios will be open. They do hope to be open to the public again soon. My personal feeling is that the springtime would kind of be the earliest. That's just my gut feeling, especially with homecoming being the first weekend in May, traditionally every year, Peloton's annual celebration for members to come and ride at the studios, work out at the studios. I wouldn't be able to believe that they would do it virtually again or just not have it. I really feel like, hopefully, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that they'll have it in person at the studio. So that was my feeling, my sense.
Remember,
but obviously, they're not going to say anything this far in advance.
I had mentioned to you that when I was in London, they had spoken about April. That was kind of the date that they were giving us for the London studio to open. And I wouldn't be surprised if they do a homecoming in London and in New York. I think that would make a ton of sense, especially with so many instructors now in the London area, as well as all the German, the UK and the German instructors.
the bigger member base now in the UK that's obviously grown.
Exactly. And they're a huge, beautiful studio. You know, they have a beautiful studio that they can accommodate people. So that's my thought. So my thought is you're absolutely right. I think I'm right there with you in that April is probably, you know, kind of April, May. Maybe April is when they officially like kind of open the doors and then, you know, do like a big hurrah in May for homecoming. That makes sense.
Yeah. I would think April, obviously, they're not going to give any kind of time frame or give any, you know, projected date this far in advance, especially with all the variants happening and Omicron. So, yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll finally we'll be able to walk in there and kind of see it, you know, with our own eyes. This beautiful space that we've only really been able to see on instructors' lives that they do before and after class. But the Tread Plus. So the other question that was frequently asked about the Tread Plus, when it's going to come back on sale. And John Foley said they remain hopeful they'll be able to return the Tread Plus to the U.S. market at some point. However, they don't have a proposed timeline. And what's more discouraging is he clarified that Peloton has not yet found a fix for it, which I guess they've still been trying to work on. What that might look like, we don't know, but they have not submitted anything to the CPSC, Child Protection Safety Corporation, Consumer Protection Safety Corporation. Thank you for approval. So, yeah, that could seem like it's a good ways away. If nothing's even been submitted.
The truth of the matter is, John, what could they possibly do to change it? You know, I mean, it's this. What could they do? I mean, people, you know, we go back to it being a piece of equipment that you need to make sure is in a, you know, area where you don't have kids around or you're being careful. I mean, gyms have an age restriction for a reason. And so should it be in your own home. So, you know, between you and me, what are they going to do to change it? You know, what could they really do?
Yeah, besides the hardware, which they've already done with the Tread Lock, which is a very simple software push update, which I think is great. I think it's great for us because I don't have to worry about Jackson. He's you know, and he's gone on the tread and he's tried to crack the code a couple times. And he recently did a walk and Jackie supervised him. You know, she sat down there with him while he worked out. But the only thing I could think of would be some sort of physical piece that's added on to the back of it, you know, for the rollers to prevent something from getting like a ball or a child or a pet from getting when it's in use. That could be my only thought about what they might be working on. Something that could easily be attached on that wouldn't take a whole lot of time or effort for a technician to have to come or put on or for you to do yourself if they send it to a member. So yeah. Your guess is as good as mine though. But I know it's discouraging for a lot of folks, a lot of members who have been waiting, you know, holding off on not buying the lower cost baby tread for the Tread Plus. And I know a lot of people are kind of just, you know, they're kind of getting close to biting the bullet on just getting the tread because they want to have that piece of hardware in their home. They want to finally immerse themselves and get that full tread experience.
Yeah. And you know what, John? I fall into that category. So most of you know that my Tread Plus, which I became obsessed just recently with, died on me. I mean, just died. Last 2 weeks ago, I was doing a run. I got up early and the next thing, the screen just stopped working. And as I was on it, the belt stopped working. And, I was fortunate enough, I think when we recorded, I may have said that they weren't able to come out until, I think I mentioned it on the show last week, that initially they weren't able to come out until January. And I had my amazing Rodrigo from the Harrods storefront, the showroom, do some magic for me. And I had somebody come out this past week. And I got good news and bad news. The good news is, they decided what was wrong. They diagnosed it. The bad news is I need a brand new tread. And whilst
so you need a whole new base.
I need a whole new base and I need a whole new touchscreen. according to the technician.
Jeez.
So what I have since discovered, and I don't know for any of you that may know this or may not know this, but thanks to Pelobuddy, I was informed that the initial 1-year limited warranty had been expanded to a 5-year. They did it quietly, and people didn't really know about it. But it is on, like if something falls off of it. So, it's basically, I think, which I don't know what's falling off a base of this massive thing, but it doesn't include the touch screen. So they have now informed me that if I want to keep my Tread Plus, I need to get it repaired, which is almost the same price as a new one. And yeah, I'm like really, really upset about it because I would have gotten a brand new, Tread Plus. And now I'm able to still do the recall. And in fact, the customer service, who was fantastic, I will say that the person that I had on the phone initially, and I do have to do some more research to see whether I can get, whether I can go any further. But he said, my suggestion to you is, utilize that recall, get your full, $4,500 back and go out and get the baby Tread. But I'm spoiled. If you've used the Tread Plus, it's going to be really hard to go, to move on to. And one of the things I loved about the Tread Plus were the slats. That was absolutely the best thing about it, is the fact that I never had any pain on my lower back. And I've said this before in the show, I've had 2 back surgeries, so I was really nervous about starting to run. So yeah, when I heard the news about there being no update, I was really, really bummed because I don't know what to do. So it's a discussion for this weekend, and I have to decide what I'm going to do, but I don't want to not be without a Tread. So I think it may look like I'm going to have to return it, get my money back, and get the lower costs. So what do you think?
Oh, so you're thinking that route. Well, I was thinking maybe if you push back a little bit and maybe escalate it to somebody else, maybe you could get some goodwill. Maybe they'll meet you halfway and split the difference. Maybe, something along those lines rather than.
I think I'm definitely going to try.
It's worth a shot. It can't hurt.
It is worth a shot. Yeah,
but
we'll see. But anyway,
that is a pretty big
for those that were interested and wanted an update, and people have been so lovely. I've gotten so many lovely messages, on social media asking me what was happening. But when I heard that call, the call, I was like, shit. It means that they're not, there's no time frame of when they're looking at bringing it back out. So,
well, let this be a lesson for anyone watching or listening. Always get the extended warranty. You can't put a price on peace of mind, Amanda.
I know. You know what, John?
I got the extra 2 years on my Tread Plus, and we have it on our bikes too. But I mean, with something like the Tread Plus, it's just such like an expensive piece of equipment. I couldn't imagine.
I don't know why I don't know. I cannot even fathom why I didn't. I don't even remember knowing about it or hearing it. I don't know why I didn't. I mean, look, I got mine in 2019, but I will tell you, I'm gonna be harsh, and I'm gonna tell you that for a 2-year Tread, the fact that it's not working after 2 years is unacceptable. I mean, it's unacceptable.
That's disappointing.
Come on. Treads should be able to, my previous shitty Tread that I had worked for 15 years. I never had an issue with it. The fact that I paid $4,500 for a Tread and within 2 years it's not working, that is not good. I'm afraid.
And you've never really had any major issue. I've had to recently replace my touchscreen on my Tread Plus, and that's the only thing. And they just mailed that to me. I put it on myself.
Right.
I didn't want to wait.
No, the only thing that was replaced was, and it was their error, was that whole coil thing on the slats where they had to come back because they had put in, and I think when they originally built out the Tread Pluses, they used whatever material they used was apparently not adequate, and they did go back and replace coils on, and that was free of charge, and they did it with no charge. But the frustrating thing too is that Tread really hasn't been used very much. I had bought it for my husband,
baby.
It really has not been used. I mean, I was the only one that started using it for that month of November, and literally within the month that I started using it, I mean, I can't believe that I was that hard on it in a month that I caused it to die on me. So who knows? Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Bummer.
Yeah, John. So moving on, last week we did speak about the pending lawsuit between Lululemon and Peloton. This past week, a Canadian online site, thestar.com, actually released an article called The Fine Line Between Inspiration and Imitation in Fashion. The article talked about how Lululemon is not standing down and is pushing how Peloton is in patent infringement over the new line of bras and leggings that they just launched. The article does say, though, that while winning a patent infringement case is typically an uphill battle, Lululemon does have a pretty strong case with the allegation of unfair competition. So, we're kind of waiting to see where this is going to land, but Lululemon being a Canadian brand is obviously on the forefront of Canadians, and they are very interested to see
Vancouver.
Correct.
Yep.
So definitely interesting to see where that goes.
Yeah, Lululemon. The only Lulu stuff I wear are old Lululemon shirts that are so gross and pitted that I wear on the bike and the tread. That's pretty much.
I like the Lulu stuff. I mean, I've transitioned.
Store.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have to say, I've transitioned.
And they also have like some sort of lifetime warranty on their clothes, so they're really good about, if a cord rips or a button breaks off, you can send it back, or they'll give you a credit for a comparable credit for to buy a different piece of clothing if that one's not available. So
that's good to know. Okay, that is very good to know. Yeah. Interesting. I did not know that.
They've stood the test of time, but I got another lawsuit. I can't keep track at this point.
I know.
Well, there was another article about in Forbes covering Peloton's recent, boxing program release and their future growth in general. It's titled "Peloton Needs to Punch Up the Power, but it will take more than shadow boxing." And the author, he paints a pretty skeptical picture on whether this program is really going to, increase Peloton's, membership growth and overall financial, growth as well. The author, Sanford Stein, he goes on to say, "This latest product offering reminded me of Steve Jobs' quote from my book." He's plugging his book, referencing the do's and don'ts of brand management. Jobs said, "Deciding what not to do is as important as deciding what to do," when referring to how Apple manages to maintain its high brand value. He says, "One can hardly fault Peloton from building on its reputation for great cardio workout. That said, I felt a tad squeamish reading about the shadow boxing program and wondered how Steve Jobs would have felt about that decision. Does it enhance the overall brand value of the company, or does it come off as token or gimmicky?" And then he says, "Peloton appears to be at a crossroads and will need to carefully guide their ship through the choppy waters of new normalcy." And I tend to, feel, I see where this author's coming from on a lot of things. It does feel, I can definitely see how it feels a little gimmicky. I don't know if this is going to be a big game changer like, say, Bike Bootcamp has been, since it was released a little over a year ago. I guess we'll just have to see in the coming months as they add instructors, as they expand the offering.
But look, both you and I didn't seem overly, ecstatic about it being released. So it's just interesting. Yeah. It's just,
Yeah, I think,
and I have to tell you, I think they've gotten top heavy. I think they've got too many I mean, I don't want to complain but they have got a lot of, they've added, and that's a huge cost to them as well. Think about what the instructors are being paid, and they have really, ramped up their instructor, base. There's a lot of material, and there are other things that need focusing on. So it is interesting from that perspective. I would imagine that we won't see any new instructors being added, in the near future. I would be shocked.
I would hope because I can barely keep track of the newest ones now.
Right. Which is a shame. Which is a shame, because what's happening is I think there are going to be some instructors that just are not going to get the traction that others have, and because you just don't have the time to do all of them. So, you know what I'm saying? So I worry about, look what happened. Look what happened with the German tread instructors. We didn't even know her name. She came and went, and again, we don't know why, but there was obviously no major traction. Nobody seemed too overly sad that she was gone, which is sad in itself. She obviously put a lot of effort and time into training and getting ready to be launched. So that's the other thing that I worry about. And I've said that now with the UK trade coaches. I love them. they're fantastic. Don't get me wrong. But I don't have enough time to get to work out. And of course, now I don't have a frigging tread, so I'm doing them outside, but it's I don't have enough time to get to all of them. So
you really have to pick and choose, because now there's so many live. There's usually a tread class that conflicts with either a UK tread class that conflicts with a UK ride, or a US ride or tread class, and vice versa. So you really got to pick and choose who you want to go with.
What you want to do.
Sometimes it feels like they're stretching themselves a little thin.
A little too thin, yeah.
So, but it's nice to have such a big variety. That was a good article. But it was an interesting take on it.
Yeah, for sure. And then, folks, to round out the news, just a little reminder that if you are trying to get that final 20,000 workout minutes badge before year end, you can head over to pelobuddy.com, where there is Chris's amazing calculator that helps you figure out how many minutes you would need each day to reach your target. While many of us have way surpassed the highest number of minutes offered in the badge, for those of you who are just not quite there yet, this calculator is really helpful, really helpful to get you there. So I'm sure that there are folks that would, love to be able to use that. And we just kind of thought it would be fun to throw this out as being, our final show for the year, to give a shout out to some of our previous folks who have been interviewed on the show, as well as some of our very faithful Pelobuddy.com TV viewers and podcast listeners. And just say a huge congrats to some folks that have way surpassed that 20,000 badge. Of course, Texas, yes, wins the prize. And at time of recording had a whopping 61,700 minutes. I did not think that Maggie sleeps. I think that Maggie just exercises. And let me tell you, John, this was before your time, but I had the privilege of interviewing Maggie on the show, and she has a remarkable story, as do so many. Stephanie Arena is another one, but, having just dropped a ton of weight and becoming a completely new person. And good for her for continuing to be as dedicated as she is. So it is in no way a criticism, but a huge kudos to, having the time and being able to put so much of oneself into their own health. So Maggie was definitely the gold star winner. And again, these are just people that I follow on, because that's the only way that you can get to see who they are. So these are people that I happen to follow on the leaderboard. And I had gotten permission previously to release that information. And I know everybody likes to be shouted out. So Nida K, who is a faithful Pelobuddy viewer, is and again, at time of recording, was at about 58,300 and something. Daisy Mack, 48,700 minutes. Zags Fangirl, 36,300. Serrana 87, who is Stephanie Arena, who again went from 310 pounds to 150 pounds. She had gone back to school, got a degree in nutrition, and is just a huge advocate for health and well-being and positivity in letting people know, how they can change their life. I mean, she is just so unbelievably inspirational. Is at 33,000. Cinco's almost at 30,000. And Emily Parsons, past member, new employee, 26,600. And John, if you weren't aware where you were
I was
at,
just checking right now because I wasn't.
almost 29,000. So you will definitely be over 30,000. 29,000. You will be over 30,000 by the end of the year. And I'm pretty proud of myself. I am heading to 26,000. So I should be there by the end of the year.
You've
maybe
got gold. Yeah, you've already earned gold.
26,500.
You're
I'm happy with that. I am so happy with that. But yeah, so I think Peloton are definitely going to need to reevaluate those badges for next year, as they're going to need to reevaluate the milestones, because there's no question that people are way past 5,000, and I think that's the highest milestone badge that's offered at this point. So we thought we'd just kind of shout those out, and huge congrats to everybody just for their consistency and dedication and motivation. And, each one of you motivates each one of us, and that's how we've built this incredible community. So kudos to everybody that, continuously works out. And remember, you're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for anybody else but yourself. So good for you.
Bravo, way to keep showing up. I know Nida K, she definitely seems to be on the leaderboard more than me. And I'm crazy. I'm crazy with the workout. So she is very committed.
She's awesome. Moving on, John, I think that is it for the news, right?
Yeah, now we got some instructors in the news to segue into.
We do have some instructor in the news segments to go into, and the first one is the much coveted Peloton holiday party, and that was held on Wednesday, December what was the date on Wednesday? I'm so bad.
December 8th.
The 8th, on Wednesday, December 8th, John and Joel Foley hosted the Peloton holiday party at the Plaza Hotel, and it was a black and white themed, and there was tons of social media posts of the absolutely spectacularly dressed team. Obviously we just got to see the instructors because that's who we all follow and that's who posted. But, oh my God, each one looked more gorgeous than the next. And I loved the idea that it was black and white. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful. So I'm sure you probably saw more than I did. I just got a glimpse of some of the stuff that was going on. But
I saw one. Cody, Hannah Corbin posted a picture with her husband and Cody and his boyfriend Andreas, and then I saw one with Maddie Majacomo in front of the big decorated tree there at the plaza with his boyfriend. I can't remember his name.
Ross.
Emma posted a TikTok where she made this transition from her normal street clothes into her outfit.
Oh, I got to go back and watch. Got to go back and watch that. Yeah. Now I got to see my girl Aditi, and she looked spectacular. Chelsea Jackson Roberts, oh my God. And there was a picture of her walking up the stairs and she kind of lifted her heels and there were those red bottoms, and she looked gorgeous. Who else did I see? Kendall. Kendall was wearing white and she looked stunning. I mean, they all looked stunning. There was not one person. I mean, look, they're a pretty good-looking bunch of instructors that we get to work out with. But literally, one looked more beautiful than the next, and it was so fun to see them in their sequins and their sparkles, and just having so much fun. Kendall posted something of them on the dance floor dancing, and in fact, I think I've mentioned before, but Aditi and I do chat to each other, and I said, "Oh my God, you looked spectacular." I said, "That looked so much fun," and She said, oh, it was really so much fun. And I said to her, I need to figure out how I can get to work there so that I can, I want to come to the much coveted Peloton party, right?
Yeah. Well,
so she went,
I didn't notice.
Her response to me, John, was, ha, ha, ha. And I'm like, oh, God.
Tee hee hee. Did you happen to notice in any of the pictures, did Kendall bring her mom, Susie?
No, her mom left on Tuesday.
Okay.
Her mom had left on Tuesday. Yeah, she had gone back already on Tuesday. And her mom actually ended up staying longer than she should have because she actually ended up getting quite sick. So she did go to a couple events with Kendall. Oh, she's such a love. She is such a love. She actually saw that I was in New York last week and reached out and said, let's try and get together. But they had so much planned. There was something that they were going to Madison Square Gardens and we were going to meet for a drink beforehand. And she came back and she said, there's just not enough time. We're going to be rushing and Kendall has another engagement. But it was sweet of her to see. She follows me and it was sweet of her to see that I was in New York and she was like, can we meet? And I was like, I would have loved to, but I was there for so short and she was as well.
When you were there last week, did you happen to go stalk the Hudson Yards studio at all and try to run into?
No, I didn't. You know what? We tend to be Lower Manhattan because that's where we stay. Kayla's apartments in Tribeca, so we tend to be Lower Manhattan. So yeah, I didn't go up. I didn't end up going Midtown at all. I didn't get to do that. But we are actually going back. Interestingly enough, I can't remember if the studio is going to be open. They probably won't be open over New Year's. What have they done in the past? I don't remember. Have they been opened in the past over New
for
Year's?
classes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually it closes down by like late afternoon on New Year's Eve, I think, if memory serves.
Okay, because I am actually going to be back in New York for New Year's Eve. We're going to a good friend's party. And I actually looked at staying at the courtyard. There's a brand new courtyard right next to the studio. Right next to the studio, and it's stunning. I mean, it is absolutely beautiful. It was sold out. So yeah. So definitely at some point I have to go past there. And get to see someone.
You never know who you might bump into.
Who you'll bump into, exactly.
Well, Selena was featured an article on self.com this past week titled 5 Things to Know Before You Try the New Peloton Boxing Classes. And I'll just give you the 5 sort of bullet points. We have a link to the article on pelobuddy.com, obviously. But first thing is nail down the fundamentals before you try an actual workout. Second one, be prepared to focus. Third, dress in supportive yet comfortable exercise gear. So you don't have to, wear any of your fancy, Peloton apparel outfits, for the bike or the tread. 4, embrace the challenge to hone your confidence. And 5, try stacking boxing with other workouts. So incorporate it, maybe with a different strength or floor exercise before or after, to complement it.
Useful. Yeah, pretty useful.
I need to try Selena too, because I also love working out with her for boot camp as well as runs on the tread. So I need to give her a shot as well as Kendall too.
Yeah, well, my good friend Tracy, Atomic Blonde One, is a huge Selena fan, and she loves her workouts. Absolutely loves her workouts. But yeah, I've done a couple runs with her and I do some of her core stuff, some of her strength. She's too hard for me, to be honest.
Yeah,
I just find her hard.
She's hard, but she's one of the ones that definitely gets me more fired up. Like more so than Rebecca and Maddie, because she starts yelling at me and she goes, come on, you're fast. She'll go, Kenny Bannon, you're faster than that. You're faster than that. And that lights a fire under me and
awesome.
Sort of gets me to push, especially in sprints, because she loves to sprint. So that really, I probably run the fastest with her.
That's amazing.
When I do straight runs or boot camps where she has sprints.
So maybe she'll get you into boxing, John. You never know.
Never know. Never say never. One thing I meant to mention when we were talking about the Tread Plus, Peloton is not promoting the Tread Plus in any way, on social. Whenever they're sharing, member pics, it's always the Tread. But I did notice, I don't know if anybody that's listening or watching has noticed, but instructors have not done have not done free mode. I've noticed recently. I was talking to Jackie about this the other day. Boot camps recently, Jess Sims would, love to throw in free mode, which can be, a lot of people hate because it can be really hard when you put the Tread Plus into free mode and you're just powering the belt just under your own, you're moving the belt just under your own power. But I wonder if they're not doing that just because they don't want to really promote a feature or promote the Tread Plus in any way in workouts.
Right.
Probably, I'm guessing probably, because they don't want to, because it's.
I wonder if it's the same.
With the recall.
I wonder if it's the same with incline, because the regular tread only goes up to 12 and the Tread Plus goes up to 15.
No, because I just did a boot camp with Rebecca on Wednesday, and we maxed it, or maybe it was with Selena, and we maxed it out to 15. She said max it out to 15 or as high as your tread will go.
The tread would go. Okay, so that's kind of what they use.
But she did say, she did say, take it up to 15 or as high as your tread will allow.
Got it.
So,
got it. Yikes.
But I definitely haven't been on anything with free mode in a long time. So I just recently noticed that. So I was curious to throw that out there. I'm sure it has to do with them not, promoting the Tread Plus as well on social media in any aspect.
Yeah, I wonder, John, but it's actually a thought that came into my head too, and I'm going to throw it out there. I wonder if they don't bring the Tread Plus back, whether they'll switch out the Tread Pluses in the studio in New York to regular treads, and just kind of like wipe the Tread Plus clean. You know what I'm saying? Because in the UK they work out on the treads. There's no Tread Pluses. Yeah. So I'd be interested to see that. Anyway, a bit of a tangent, but that was a thought that came into my mind.
Very well. Yeah, possible.
Yeah. And then Ali Love actually got to speak at the woman. It was called Women of the Channel. It was a leadership summit where there were over 500 women that attended. So, she's so good at public speaking, and she was the guest speaker at that event. So she was recently in the news with that.
Nice. And rounding out the instructors in the news. So a while back, we had mentioned that Cody was nominated for the People's Choice Awards. Way back when he first started on Dancing with the Stars, at the beginning of the season. It's an annual fan-voted award show. It spans 40 different categories, honors numerous different entertainment across movies, television, music, pop culture. It aired on NBC and the E network simultaneously from the Barker Hangar in Santa Monica, California, and longtime SNL actor Kenan Thompson hosted it. But Cody was one of the nominees in the competition contestant of 2021 category for being in Dancing with the Stars, and he ended up losing out actually to his Dancing with the Stars, the other Dancing with the Stars contestant, JoJo Sliwa. She was nominated for Dancing with the Stars and did win for her participation in DWTS. That wraps up. Should we go right into the class picks of the week?
And I will go first. So my first pick of the week has to be holiday themed, since we are in the midst of the holidays. And, John, as the Jewish girl, I will tell you, I have always envied Christmas time. My parents were very, very strict growing up, and there was to be no trees. There was to be, and a lot of folks actually find that but a lot of folks, don't find that quite, unusual. Like, wow, you didn't have a tree? And I'm like, no, I didn't have a tree, which was interesting. But so I love it. I mean, put on holiday music. I absolutely love this time of year. There is no question for me. It's the funnest time. And it's funny, if you speak to most, non-religious Jews, they'll tell you the same thing. I mean, we love listening to Christmas music. We love everything about Christmas. So having all these amazing workouts on the platform have been fantastic. But my first pick of the week, folks, is Sam Yo's 30-minute holiday classics. And that was back from Wednesday. And I will share a funny story and why it became my pick of the week. So I was heading towards I was really hoping to get to 2,000 rides before the end of the year. It was my goal. I really wanted to get there, and just with so much travel and not being around my bike a lot, I wasn't able to get there. But I kind of set myself a new goal, and I figured, okay, let's try and get to 1,900 rides, which I did. And I had planned to do my 1,900 ride on Thursday with Leanne, of course. And the day before, I got an email from Peloton to say, we are so sorry, but the class has been cancelled. And after chatting to Leanne, she was gutted, but she was also pissed because she had told them to remove that class, and they hadn't done it until the day before. So she wasn't happy with scheduling, and that she was still on there as a live class. But I was kind of put in this dilemma. It was like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? And I don't ride with Sam often. One of his rides that I absolutely love is his Imagine Dragons, and I will do his Imagine Dragons cool down a ton, and I do his stretch a ton, but I don't typically ride live with him. I did his Halloween ride live. Every now and again I'll jump on something, but ironically, just that morning on my Facebook memories, it popped up that I had ridden exactly 2 years to Wednesday live with him in London in the studio. So it was kind of like, I'm a big believer in fate. So it was like, it seems that this may be quite appropriate that I do my ride with him. So I did. I jumped on his 30-minute Holiday Classics ride, and it was fantastic. I have milked my shout out to the core on Instagram because it was so hysterical. So what I ended up doing was I changed my thumbnail to my picture of him and me. And I put in there that I had ridden exactly 2 years. But I guess Seglo 3, the L can look like an I, so I became Sergio 3 in his shout out, and it was hysterical. But the ride, folks, was so much fun, and I want to share with you some of the classics that he did in fact have on the ride. Bear with me just a second because I'm unprepared. So he had, some of the best. He had Elvis Presley, Santa Claus is Back in Town. He had, Christmas by Michael Bublé. He had My Favorite Things by Tony Bennett, Jingle Bells by Ella Fitzgerald. He had some Marvin Gaye in there. He had, Frank Sinatra's Let It Snow, the Jacksons 5, Santa Claus is Coming to Town. And he ended it with Elvis Presley's Silent Night. So it was definitely a mix. He had a little bit of everything. And one thing I absolutely love about Sam Yo is he gets totally into his rides. So whether it be his Halloween ride, his AC/DC ride, his holiday, he had his, ho 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 shirt on, and I love the little clip that you had that you put on your Instagram on that. It was hysterical. But
with the sleeves cut off naturally, because Sam never rides with sleeves. He's like Adrian.
But if you want to do a fun holiday ride, that one really was just, a fun holiday ride. And you won't get to hear my shout out because it was pre-show, but thanks to John Pruitt, I got the whole thing in beautiful form. I did video it. Once I heard him calling out milestones and he'd started at 2000 something, I thought, maybe he'll call out mine. So I was recording.
You whipped out the camera.
But yours was far better. So thank you for doing that for me.
Sure. It was fun to celebrate with.
It was fun to do, and tons of people had jumped on, and it was really fun. So if you're looking just for a really fun holiday ride, that's one that I can absolutely recommend. And then I got to give kudos to Kendall. Her Queen ride from Wednesday, I wasn't able to do it live, unfortunately. As you've said often, that 7:30 time start sucks. I was out to dinner with friends, so I wasn't able to do it live, but I did do it. And we mentioned some of the songs earlier that she had played in there. She just had everything. She had all the unbelievable
bangers.
Tunes. For sure. They were bangers and belters that Ben Oldest would have been proud of. So that is my bike. As far as tread goes, obviously I can't do anything on the tread, but John Hosking did a 30-minute Broadway. And no, he did not play Phantom. I don't think they have the rights to Phantom.
I peeped the playlist on that one.
Did you?
I noticed he played something from he played something from Cats from the
he did
Broadway or London.
He's a huge Cats fan, but his 30-minute, and interestingly enough, it actually had some technical difficulties, so he re-recorded it, and I was so pleased that he did. So he dropped it as a re-record. It was 20 minutes. It was just a 20-minute run, but he had Hamilton, so I was really pleased that he threw Hamilton in there.
Two tracks from Hamilton.
Two Hamiltons. He did. Yeah. He had "You'll Be Back" and "My Shot." And "My Shot's" one of my favorite in that. He had, all that jazz. He had Cats, as you said. So he had Hairspray. So from a tread perspective, absolutely loved his 20-minute run. And then got to throw in my meditation. Ross Rayburn did a very simple, it was just on Thursday morning, actually, a 10-minute peace meditation. And it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. So those are my 4 picks of the week.
Nice. Well, I've got a few. So I'm going to start off with last Saturday, December 4th, Alex's 45-minute Club Bangers ride. And this is probably one of the best Club Bangers playlists that I can recall in maybe the past year. But he had Ludacris, he had Dr. Dre, he played Avicii's Levels, he played Pink. He even played Eddie Murphy's. Eddie Murphy in the 80s he put out a couple hits in between his acting career, and he played Eddie Murphy's Party All the Time.
Oh, I love that.
Just a great, such a good playlist. And he was singing along, and he even commented how he doesn't even know the words, but he was just laughing at himself. Great ride. Then switching over to boot camp, Jess Sims. I'm loving the Jess Sims the Monday noon boot camp time slot, since she shifted from 5 p.m. on Mondays to noon with the fall schedule. But Jess's 45-minute full body intermediate boot camp is a hip hop playlist. Just great workout. Did that one with Jackie. That's kind of become our weekly workout date to work out with Jess, and usually with Robin too when she has a ride on Wednesdays or Thursdays. But next up, we're going to switch to the tread in the UK with your boy John Hosking. I finally got to do a tread workout with him, and I did it live, his 20-minute 70s walk, which I sent you a couple. I had a couple boomerangs of some different funny dance moves that he had, but he was really feeling the 70s vibe, as was I. But my favorite track in the whole playlist had to be Marvin Gaye's "Got to Give It Up," and that's where he was really getting into it and feeling the swagger. But I really like him. I'm looking forward to doing a run with him, which I haven't done yet.
That's awesome.
And now I posted him in my stories. I tagged the Husky. What is it? The Husky
Club Husky.
Club Husky in my story.
Awesome.
Yeah, give him a little shout out. Shifting over back to the bike, Emma's 15-minute 80s ride from Thursday, December 9th. Nice, super quick. You only have 15 minutes. Fantastic 80s playlist. The two standouts for me were Phil Collins' "Susudio" and "Cherish" by Madonna. And I don't know about you, but I can never listen to "Susudio" without associating it with the movie American Psycho with Christian Bale, because he's such a fan of 80s music and Phil Collins and Genesis throughout the movie in a couple different scenes where he's playing. Yeah, when he's playing that. And then going back to the tread with Selena Samuela, a 30-minute rock tread boot camp. This one is all levels. So it wasn't intermediate, it wasn't advanced, it wasn't beginner, it's just a little bit of everything for everyone. But from Monday, December 6th, nice playlist basically of all the different decades, really. She had a real melting pot playlist. Jimi Hendrix, The Verve, Foo Fighters, Green Day, Royal Blood. But a great, some good sprints sprinkled in on the tread, and then some good transitions and strength workout on the floor. So that's what I got for this week.
Awesome. I think we've got some great picks. Fantastic. Yeah. Well, I guess, John, that pretty much wraps it up. So, folks, we wish you all a very, very safe and happy holiday. Whatever you're celebrating, for those that have already celebrated, happy holidays to you. And for those that are going to celebrate, happy holidays to you. We look forward to being back next year with hopefully tons of more news and tidbits and whatever you like to hear. Hope you don't miss us too much over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, we do plan to have something, no promises, but we plan to have something fun for you next week so that Tony Sinkinson has something to do, on Boxing Day. On Boxing Day, because Christmas is Saturday, and in the UK they celebrate Boxing Day on the 26th. So, Tony, we do need to make sure that you and Sue have your cup of tea and get to watch us, because you'd hate to miss us. But yeah, hopefully we'll have that for you guys. And everybody just have a really safe and happy holiday. And we will see you next year. So from me here in Maryland, bye for now, everybody.
And from me here in Michigan, have a safe, happy holiday. Merry Christmas. For our British friends in the UK, I think they like to say Happy Christmas, right? They do. Happy Christmas. Yep. And as always, we will see you on the leaderboard.
Thank you for watching Pelobuddy TV, your source for everything Peloton, by the community, for the community. Work out with us using the Pelobuddy TV leaderboard tag, and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Pelobuddy. Don't forget that we have a podcast available so that you can listen to us while on the move. Just search for Pelobuddy TV on any major platform and hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode.